All right, guys. Welcome to MetFix Spark Week 1. You ready? So excited. Hello to everyone watching remotely. Everybody has their handouts, which is good. If you've not brought me your intake form, again, whatever you want to have measured and put in the system and tracked is what you could put in there. Like right now, I just have my weight and fasting insulin because those are the two things I track all the time. But if you've not given them to me, you can give them to me at the end of this week's presentation. So why do we care about improving our health? Anybody want to chime in? What's the point of being here to learn nutrition?
One is reducing inflammation.
Reducing inflammation. That's really good. I'm actually going to write some of these down too. Go ahead, Tim.
Basically feeling more comfortable in your joints and just overall.
Yeah.
So that for longevity.
Longevity. Oh. Yeah, definitely. I love nutrition and obviously fitness because I can go out and do anything with anyone and not be like, oh, I can't physically do that, or I can't fit in that, or I can't even climb that or run that. So I like that I'm no longer held back by the restrictions of excess weight or inability to sustain high capacity activities. Yep.
For me, it's really important too, just to maintain a healthy body fat, body composition, and then also along with that, just the health of the skin and everything. You see the vitality.
It's another one, vitality.
Really healthy.
Awesome. Cool. Oh, confidence. Put that one. Yes.
Well, I would feel a lot better. Myself, I feel like I'm obviously building trust because I'm holding myself accountable for my health. And I feel very confident.
I love that. Awesome. We're off to an amazing start. So what is MetFix? It's the metabolic fix. Anyone in my gym's heard this for a year now, but again, it's the metabolic fix. It's a diet and exercise program that improves our health. Okay. So the first part of your week 1 packet, it says nutrition starts now, keys to success. And I'm just going to go over the things bold because I'm sure you've read through it or you will this evening. Get plenty of protein per day. So forget what you've heard if anyone's told you that you don't need protein. Generally 1 pound per gram, 1 gram per pound of body weight that you want to be. So when I was like 150, I wanted to be 130. So I ate 130 grams of protein a day, fats, and took out my carbs, right? I set my protein up for the weight I want it to be. Some people want to gain muscle mass. So if I have a young athlete who's heading off to college and he weighs 160 pounds and he wants to weigh 180 pounds, I'm going to up his protein to match that. So we'll do that on an individual basis by what your goals are to get you set up for that. You can drink water, coffee, or tea, but this is where you have to really learn to avoid sugary drinks, right? So if you're going to go to Starbucks, get a nitro cold brew and put half and half in it. No sugar, no syrups, no sweeteners at all, right? That's a good thing. Unsweetened tea, green tea is really great. It's a really healthy tea as well. And water, can never get enough water. Keep drinking your water. If you are working hard in that ketogenic state or taking exogenous ketones, remember to add in some electrolytes for the kidneys. So make sure you're staying hydrated. Water, what do we use? Lemon, lime in the house, a little bit of salt. We use the Fit Aid, 0 sugar, half a packet at a time, and a couple pints of water. That's excellent. The goal is to eliminate sugar and refined carbs because that's how we maximize fat loss, right? If we avoid foods high in carbs, especially the white carbs like bread, rice, potato, and choose leafy green vegetables as our primary source, we're in a really good place. We'll talk later about like Ross hypothesis and why it's hard to burn fat, or use fat for fuel or burn stored fat when we're carb loading all the time, right? It's actually, it's happening at a cellular level, and we'll get into that later. Choose natural sources of fat, avoid processed oils. So canola, rapeseed, safflower, soybean, corn, etc. Later on, when we get into the pantry audit, you'll know what oils to take out because there's a checklist that you go through, and literally anything that's on that list, we take it out to the trash. We don't give it to someone else because it's not good for anybody. I know some of us have a hard time wasting food or throwing it away, but Tim's wisdom is like, that's not food. And then I say that, and then I can throw it away. So I like that. Choose the meal frequency that works best for you. Some people in the beginning, especially when you are someone that runs off glucose to make energy, you're going to feel that lull as we start to work on that metabolic flexibility and go towards a higher fat and protein intake and less carbohydrates. So you might do the smaller, more frequent meals. Play it by ear. Everybody's different, and we're here to help. So always ask. And don't go hungry. You really don't need to be starving. So if you find that you're still hungry and it's later in the day and you've had a busy day and you've worked out hard, opt for poultry, fish, meats, and green leafy vegetables, right? So generally, out of habit, or what we like to call food noise, which a lot of it is habitual, we come home from work and we're like, that was a long day. Sit down, turn on the TV, whether it's the news or a crime show or whatever it is. And then we just start like eating in a trance. We're just eating whatever, let it be chips or kids' cheese puffs or fruit snacks, whatever it is. But if we still really feel legitimately hungry, those lean proteins and leafy greens are like not going to do you any disservice if you're eating outside of the window of your meals that you set up or even later in the day. Losing weight is not about starving. So this is not about like trying to trick your body in and out of starve mode and things like that. The focus is on eating real food, which is animals and plants. That's real food. Okay. And you can do it the first few days, like I said, as we start lowering our carb intake. If we've been really dependent on that, we are going to feel the energy kind of slow down. But the good news is generally that day 3 or 4 is when the cravings, noise of like, but where are my chips? Where are my cookies? Where's my ice cream that I have every night? You actually don't feel like you need it. You never needed it, but your gut's a little off, your brain starts signaling, and you feel like you do need it. That goes away too. So you don't have to worry about that in the long run. Most importantly, you're not alone. So we have each other. A lot of us are doing this remotely. A lot of us are doing this from within the gym. I got a lot of coaches doing this as well. Talk to each other. Definitely lean on each other for when you feel like you need support, when things are feeling a little bit hard. So 4 weeks, we're going to be doing this every Thursday, 6:30 p.m. This week is about awareness. Next week is about quality. Week 3 is about quantity. So like, how much do I eat of this quality food, right? And then we build up to health metrics in week 4. So we're just going to systematically go through it 1 week at a time. There'll be handouts that I hand to you every week or mail to you at the beginning of each week. Email if I know that you're doing this remotely. So you'll be totally on track with that. So let's define metabolism, because that's what we're here to talk about, right? Metabolism means the set of chemical reactions in the body that sustains life, okay? Metabolic health is when those chemical reactions allow you to live a quality life. So that's why you're here, to learn how to do that. We know about work capacity across a lifetime. Work capacity is the fitness aspect, which is necessary, but it's not sufficient for health. You also need a healthy metabolism. So it's that work capacity and the healthy metabolism. Being in a state of metabolic health, like we talk about constantly, that is what we need to have a healthy life and get on board with all these things we listed that we're looking for, want, and hope for ourselves and others. So I love this. This is where we're going to take a moment to talk about the sickness, wellness, fitness continuum. I know you guys here in person have seen this before, but for those watching, I will probably have to bring this even a little bit closer and get out of the way. So over here, I have sickness. Up here, I have wellness. And over here, I have fitness. Like, what is it? Like 75% of Americans have some sort of metabolic dysfunction, prediabetes, diabetes, autoimmune disease, battling cancer. They're in the sickness category, right? How do we measure that? It's all measurable. Well, I can look at people's blood pressure like we had on the sheet. We can actually, so short right now, all the time. We can look at everything on your intake form. So I'm going to write this down. All these measurements on the intake form are ways that we can measure if we're sick or well, right? Where are we falling on the spectrum? Well, what does it mean? Then we add in the work capacity. All of these numbers are stellar. I'm eating meats and vegetables, nuts and seeds, some starch, little fruit, no sugar, and no seed oils. And I'm working out. I'm doing my CrossFit, maybe joining a high rocks class, 11 barbell, all these things. That's what takes me from a place of sickness all the way into fitness. And why is this important? Because sometimes life happens, right? Like, we just met a woman today. She came down with the flu and then had kidney issues and was in the hospital. So thank God she was fit, because then she just slid back to here. She didn't go from fitness all the way, like living in assisted living with doctors and medical stuff all the time. She was fit and healthy enough that she slid back to there. And now she's building her fitness back after being in the hospital on medication to get back into the fitness category. So this is where we want to be. This program, through the nutrition that we talk about, and even the workouts that we offer each week, are going to get all these numbers in line. All your measurable things on the intake form that you're looking at are going to be in a place to let you know that between your workouts and the way you're eating, you have arrived in fitness. This is where we want to be on that continuum. This is the thing, like, for anyone that has their level 1, and we reminded our level 2, anyone in the CrossFit circuit, like, it's one of those things that just always sticks with you, right? Like, no matter what you're doing in life, I always think back to this. And sometimes that's just the motivation I need. Like, hey, I want to keep these good because I don't want to be on 7 medications like the average American is by the time they're 40. It's not sounding like a good time, right? So a combination of convenient metabolic measures track our health outcomes. That was the sheet we gave you. I hope you guys opted in as many as possible. We can link our goals, whether we want to get more energy, whether we want to lose weight, to fixing metabolism and the continuum. So how do we do that to improve our health markers and get to fitness? We work towards metabolic flexibility, right? So the fitness aspect, we're crushing it for CrossFitters. Those following along that are not in a fitness program, we're going to give you the weekly workouts that you can do as well. So you can start working on the fitness aspect. So what metabolic flexibility means is, our whole lives, we've been told from a young age that we need carbs to feed the brain in young kids. They need fruit. They need carbohydrates for energy, for brain health, for everything. So we, as a society in general, run off high amounts of carbohydrate. And unfortunately, it comes in many forms. It comes in ultra-processed foods, fast foods, cupcakes at birthday parties, chocolate at classroom parties. We're constantly with this barrage of just crappy versions of carbohydrates. So then your body gets dependent on the glucose. So you eat your carbohydrates, blood sugar's floating around, cells open, it brings it in through the Krebs cycle. We turn it into ATP, which is energy. And when we use it up, it signals that we need more food, right? But then what food do we put back in to continue to feed the glucose cycle of energy? More carbohydrates. And what does that do over a long period of time? Well, we see high-end elite athletes, ultramarathon runners, Olympians, CrossFitters, coming down with type 2 diabetes because they are constantly carb loading and feeling that the only energy source that they can run off of in life and sport is a carbohydrate. But we know this to not be true, and that's what metabolic flexibility is. How do I use ketones, like get in a state of ketosis, to have energy to do everything? So we know Pete Shaw, like, he is a games level athlete and he's ketogenic. Coach Ty and myself, we are carnivore, or at the very least ketogenic with some vegetables find themselves in on the chat, and we never run out of energy. We can do Murph without needing any carbs. I've been doing high rocks, staying in zone 4 and zone 5 for 13 to 20 minutes in a class. That's insane. VO2 max goes up. Like, you can make the energy from these foods, but you have to train your body how to do it. You've got to break that cycle of carbs for energy. So we're going to work on that over the next 4 weeks as well. Metabolic dysfunction is what we hear thrown around a lot as well, right? Metabolic dysfunction, metabolic dysfunction. Here's where it starts. Lots of carbs or fast food or seed oils, all the above, just growing up with it because we don't know any better. It was the food pyramid up until last week, right? We finally have normal food pyramid. So when we get that high intake in over time, the body's like, crap, I can't even manage this glucose fast enough. And I'm just going to start making more fat. I'm going to store it. And the pancreas is working harder now too. So your insulin production starts getting higher and higher and higher to manage the consumption of carbs, raising the blood sugar. So what does that mean? Insulin resistance is what it means. And that's generally brewing in the body for like a decade, and nobody checks it. The fasting insulin that you hear me gripe about all the time on Monday Fixes and Talks in the podcast is because if you would just do that one little measure, fasting insulin, and you could see if that number is 6 or less, you're doing okay, right? You're managing the amount of carbs you have. You're not going off the rails. But as you see it get into the double digits, I see people in the 50s, and I'm like, I didn't even know it went that high. That is serious metabolic dysfunction. Next step is prediabetes. Final boss is diabetes, and that is the gateway to all of the chronic disease and illness. So metabolic dysfunction, being out of it, is your ticket to longevity and health and all these things that you want for yourself. And the things you do in your teens, 20s, 30s affects 40s, 50s, 60s, and so on. So it's important to work hard to get out of the metabolic dysfunction. We were not made to eat these foods. We literally, before the industrialization of food, were living on the meat from the animals we killed and the berries and vegetables that we forage for, right? It wasn't even like, hey, we need to go out into the world and find a couple loaves of bread because we need energy to go chase down the animal and kill it, right? It was never about that. So we're just taking our bodies back to the way they were designed naturally to work. Again, even before you're really bad with the insulin resistance, remember the increase in insulin also causes the inflammation. So for someone like Tim, who's like, man, I just don't want to hurt. I want to be out of inflammation. I don't want to be in pain. This is your ticket to never having to go to Costco and buy the 2-pack of ibuprofen, right? Just saying. Seed oils decrease satiety and keep you eating more. So let me erase the continuum, and I'm going to give you a quick little Ross breakdown here. Cute little cell. Talked about what we're going to do. They're all over here. Okay. So this is your cell, and the pancreas releases the insulin, and then the cell opens up. So instead of it being here and closed, the cell is now open. So I ate some food, and let's give a great example. What did I eat? I had steak, and I had some ghee. I cooked it in that. And for the hell of it, I'll throw in some sprouts because that's what Tim adds to his meal. He's still enjoying carnivore. And the body's breaking it down, and it goes into the cell, and the cell's super excited, and it doesn't take much insulin at all to manage any of this. And then when the cell has had enough, the cell does systemic insulin resistance, where it shuts down the cell and says, hey, you're full. Congratulations. Let me cook. Let me do my work. I'm going to take the steak, ghee, and sprouts, and I'm going to make you all the energy you need. And you're likely going to roll 5 to 6 hours on that because you're in ketosis. So let's keep rolling. Let's keep rolling. Let's say the opposite things happen, because sometimes life gets a little crazy. We attend a birthday party or a Christmas dinner or whatever it is, and I eat some food, and it's fried chicken. So I got some good flour on there, some gravy, and since we're going all in, we'll just put in the mashed potatoes.
You get a grape soda?
We can get a grape soda. We can, and grape soda. Because this is, if we're going to cheat, just throw in your soda too. And then what's super cool is I fried the chicken in canola oil because somebody at Kaiser told me that's the healthiest oil to eat, especially if you've had a heart attack. Heavy sarcasm noted, but they do that. So canola oil on my chicken, plus low quality flour. We're just putting shit from America, just shaking in the bag, like we're going all in. Frying it in bad oil. We're throwing on gravy that's more flour and probably just maybe some margarine because I feel like being healthy. I'm not going to put butter in. I'm going to put margarine in and on my potatoes as well. And now my pancreas is like, whoa. Instead of like on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm letting out insulin. How about a scale of like 12 out of 10? I'm all in plus more, and I'm going crazy. Because this stuff just keeps pouring in, and then eventually, kind of like if you've tried to pick up your kids' crayons and fit them all in the crayon box, even though it's from free, you're stuffing them in, and then it just breaks and starts coming out. And what happens? this is not going to be converted into ATP. I just got to get all this glucose out of my blood. My pancreas is like, bro, I need a vacation. And now I'm just going to start storing it in the fat cells. I'm just going to make more fat around the organs, visceral fat. Like, hey, you know why? It feels so bloated, but 5 days later, the bloat's not away. It just feels like a gut from the seed oils, the bad carbohydrates, the trash margarine, the plastic instead of butter. And these kinds of things over time, they just compound and compound and compound. Because at the end of the day and the beginning of the day and 7 days a week, you can't outrun a bad diet, right? So that's the question. Hey, Lori, but maybe I'm going to eat that and then go for a walk afterwards and then go run. And then the next day, only eat half the pizza instead of the whole pizza. And then when I go to the movie theater, I'll just hold the butter on the popcorn because I did yoga that day. You can work out like all you want. It does not change what's happening at the cellular level in your body, right? So again, what we're eating is everything. And that chronic boosting of the insulin in the system is that gateway drug to all the health problems going forward. Even Jesus, Ty and I laugh about this. Jesus comes down, he's like, bruh, that In-N-Out looks good. I haven't had a bun and some fries in a minute, and that spread full of the oils. I'm good because I'm Jesus. No, you can't outrun the bad diet. Nobody's impervious to this. So the solution is a proper diet, which is what we have, right? Meats and vegetables, nuts and seeds, some starch, little fruit, no sugar, no seed oils. Just keep saying it till you memorize it. So what am I looking for you to try to switch to is a high fat, moderate protein, and low carb. That's your best bet. You're ketogenic by default when you manage that. I love it. It's perfect. I'm not going to repeat the meat and vegetables, nuts and seeds. I've been saying it too much. Proper exercise, constantly varied, high intensity functional movement. 13 and a half years into the game, and I can't think of anything before CrossFit or anything that could possibly come after it that will match Glassman's methodology. So you've come to the right place for nutrition and fitness. We got you covered there. Your lifts, your basic gymnastics, conditioning, hard and fast, mixing the elements 5 to 6 days a week, right? That's what we do. That's why we have an unlimited membership. So you can come in here. You have 7 days a week to come in and get in 5 workouts or 6 if you're like half of us. We love that. Avoiding processed foods and cooking at home is a really easy way to manage your food and feel good about it, right? Like how many people think, okay, we're going out with friends. What can I eat? Does anybody plan ahead or is it just me? Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, it's helpful. Hey, we're going to go to a Giants game, a Niners game, a hockey game, whatever. Like, you know, you're going to get totally horrible food at the stadium. Even if you do a hot dog or a burger with no bun, it's like probably F- quality meats, cooked in oils or whatever. Like if you can pregame your outings or know the restaurant you're going to, you're good to go. The simplest way, because this is the number one question I get from all my clients, patients, and everyone in the challenge. Well, what do I eat when I want to go out to eat? Well, you can do a salad with grilled salmon. You can make sure they're not using oil on it, that it's cooked in its own oil, or they're just using butter if they're going to cook with anything. Steak, specify no oil, because some places like the lot at City Center use shit oil when they cook their steak in it. And then you fill it in like 10 minutes. And you're like, damn, forgot to say no oil. A burger, no bun. If you love dairy, have one of the cleaner cheeses. American cheese is not cheese, so please make it good, like a provolone or something that actually has some thought put into it beyond plastic. Keep that going. Have your vegetables with it. Have it lettuce wrapped. If you're going to go out to sushi with friends, do sashimi and just have the fish. Leave the rice out of the equation. You can really go to any type of restaurant and just focus on the meat and vegetables. Specify no oils, and you should be like 95% of the time totally in the clear. Reasonable enough? I can't help you with pizza. You just have to make sure they have like something other than pizza at a pizza restaurant. Okay, so Lori, I don't like to cook. I don't know what to cook. I don't have a lot of time for recipes, whatever. If you've not been to one of our in the gym cooking classes that take place right here as well, and you've not paid attention to both CrossFit San Ramon and MetFixMethod.com's website, then you've been missing the daily fix. First thing you should do tonight, write this on your clipboard, write this down, go to MetFixMethod.com, and on the first page at the bottom, you see the daily fix. There's a belly, which is a recipe, and they're very simplistic. Your children can help you make them. Very quick and amazingly delicious. Then there's a body. So there's a free workout every day. So my friends that are not part of the gym and in on this nutrition program, you got a free workout every day from the best of the best, right? And then there's brain. And I love that because it offers a lot of sound medical advice, or broken science might be showing us something that we thought was true because people were misleading us for quite some time. And it just shatters that illusion and lets us know, especially about cholesterol. You can get stuff like that. So go to the Daily Fix, make that part of your homework tonight, and check that out. And then let's talk about, let's get the handout so I have this. You had your awareness, you wrote down your whys, what you're doing, and then we're going to build our baseline. Okay, it's a kitchen audit, and this really makes life easy. So I wish I had this the last 10 years, because with my clients, I could have just handed it to them. But since, people text and call and they want to know in the middle of the store, they FaceTime me, can I eat this? I look at the label, yes or no. This kind of takes all the guessing work out. If you go into your kitchen, your pantry, your fridge, even your counter, whatever, and you're like, yeah, I do have a lot of breakfast cereals. You don't even have to wonder if it's okay, because we're getting rid of that, right? Hey, I really thought that core oil was cool. I got this like 5-gallon jug. It's okay. The garbage men need jobs too. Toss it. It's okay. Keep them working. Everybody needs job security. Sweetened yogurt and pudding cups. And I bring up this one because everyone asks if they can have like ricotta cheese or yogurt or Greek yogurt or whatever. And my first response is, there's no added sugar, fruit, or anything, right? It's just like the Greek yogurt or the ricotta cheese. Some of them are cottage cheese, have like pineapple. I'm like, we can't do that. So this will help you be honest with what needs to go out of your kitchen. I don't think I have any of this, but I'm still going to check, because you never know. What if I have table sugar in the back of the pantry? Then I'm gonna toss it out. It's probably been in there for 5 years anyways, but nonetheless, go through that tonight. And then we have the 7-day food log chart. If you were like, I don't have time for pen to paper, but you have a good memory, a nice little life hack is open up Chat GPT. It's free if you don't pay for the upgrade, and say, break down my macros for the day. Put in what you ate for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, snack, anything and everything, and drinks, and it'll break it down for you right there. So you don't even have to do math. You don't even need to put in an app, nothing. But it's only if you have a good memory, right? Honestly, I do that to make sure I'm getting enough protein when my appetite is down. But I love this as well. And honestly, Phil, you've got breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snack. Any notes like how you felt? Day one of rolling back carbs, you're probably going to be like, I feel a little tired today. Again, not uncommon, okay? Be kind to yourself. Give yourself some grace. Rome was not built in a day. If it takes people like a decade to gain 100 pounds, obviously they're not going to fix their health in 2 days and lose the 100 pounds, right? We have to give our body time to respond to the changes we're making. And the other thing I want to look at is the tool list, okay? Because a lot of you in this don't cook. It's really quite common. 1 out of 3 people I talk to lives on DoorDash and fast, like drive-thrus in this gym, 100%. And there's no judgment, because you have multiple kids and you're driving them from one sport to the next. And if you go from work to the kids to the sport, it wasn't as if you even got home to grab food. So that's where learning how to food prep, slowly working into that with crock pots and different things, will help you. But the basic equipment, like, do you have a baking sheet and parchment paper? Aluminum foil, unless you're in our house, because Tim doesn't let us use that for anything. A pan, a pot, large stirring and serving spoons, spatulas, measuring cups, a food scale if you really want to make sure you're getting X amount of protein, right? You'd have to weigh your protein. A crock pot or slow cooker are a bonus. The other thing is you can do an all-in-one and go on Amazon and get the Instapot that has the slow cooker setting. 2 birds, 1 stone, $50. You heard it here. You're gonna have to have a knife, right? You're gonna have to be able to cut things. And then I love the at-home workout equipment too. Like, go to Marshall's. If you're like, I am not comfortable going to a gym, because some people are not yet with where they're at in their fitness journey. Some people are like, I leave at 5 a.m. for work. I get home at 7 p.m. I'd happily work out at home, but if I spend another hour and a half in a gym, then I'll be eating dinner at 9. Got it. So have a few pieces of equipment. Go to Marshall's, They always have dumbbells and kettlebells, foam rollers, all the tools. Get what you need. Have some running shoes. Have a backpack. If you don't have a rucksack, they're the best. GoRuck.com, get one. Or borrow one of your kids' backpacks and just put stuff in there that weighs stuff. Put cans of like broth in there. Like go for a weighted walk. Do something, right? We'll help you with that as well. And then I know we're not back east where they're having like a nor'easter right now, but it's still cold here. So make sure you're dressed appropriately in the Bay Area because it's the coldest winter so that you're feeling comfortable and not losing motivation during your outdoor workout because you're freaking miserable because you're freezing, right? So plan ahead, do it, get together with friends, whatever it takes. Walk a dog if you have a dog. So again, I'm going to summarize the key points. You might want to write this down. We're going to avoid the seed oils, which if you have any questions of what that means, it's on your kitchen audit. It's broken down, right? Breaking it down for you. Avoid processed foods. Well, what does that mean? If I have a peach and I take it off the tree, that is a whole food. It is a peach, right? If I cut it up and can it and put it in syrup, it's processed. If I mash it out and do things and put it in a pie, it's ultra processed peach, right? It's like whole food, processed, ultra processed. Same with the potato. I have a potato. I bake it and I eat it. It's a potato. I cut it up and I fry it in seed oils. We've gone straight to the ultra processed, right? We don't even need to talk about mashing it in between. We've just gone straight to ultra processed. The food log will help you be honest with yourself about how you're eating and what you need to work on. Because again, we're not judging what's happening in the food log. We're seeing where we are and where we're going from that place, right? It's our starting point. And then let's try to move 5 to 6 times a week, whether it's 3 times in the gym and 2 to 3 times outside. Go to Lake Annabelle, do 2-3 laps with a ruck bag, whatever it is, or the workouts that are week to week in this program as well, that I'll be emailing you week 1's workout tonight with the video. Give it a shot. For our members, come in, log into class or open gym. We'll set a clock and you can do that. And you can retest it like every month. Because I know my CrossFitters they love progress, right? They love the PRs. But now we can just take a Metcon that we're giving you, a workout, and keep it measurable, put it in there. I'll put it in Wodify as MetFix Spark week 1 Metcon. And then it'll always be in there, saved that way. So you can add it to performance and say, hey, the first time I did this workout, it took me 13 minutes. And I did it with this weight. And then 4 weeks later, I did it in 11 minutes with that weight. And then 4 weeks after that, I did it in 8 minutes with the RX weight. And now I'm living the dream, right? So these are the things that we want to do, is give you all the measurable data so that you can see and feel the difference happening within you when you make these changes. Are there any other questions about anything? Pretty self-explanatory? Super cool? Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to stop the video. I'm going to upload this, put it on my YouTube, and send everyone the link. Again, kitchen audit, I'll be honest with you. I'll go through the cabinets and see if there's something that I need a step stool to find, because that's anything on the second and third shelf, and anything in there that we have. We might even have no, we don't have any of that. I bet you we have brown sugar and table sugar. So I used to make probiotic yogurt, and you had to put sugar in it to feed So I'm going to audit my stuff too. All right, guys, I'm proud of you. Week 1 starting. Let's make it great. See you next week.